Barack Obama was in Copenhagen for the climate talks, and while he was there, he gave an acceptance speech for that Nobel Peace Prize that he was awarded. You remember that? Remember that he received the award based on a nomination made around the time of his inauguration. And it was given to him mostly, so we were told, because of the potential for peace and what he had said. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, since receiving the Nobel Prize, he ordered 30,000 more troops to Afghanistan. Not the removal of troops. He ordered more troops to Afghanistan, which is, to say the least, it's confusing to many progressives and to many people who believe that Barack Obama is a pro-peace president. I don't know. It makes the Nobel Peace Prize a little bit more bizarre, does it not?
Bizarre that someone would be nominated for it before actually doing anything.
Well, and also that someone decides to escalate a war after receiving it, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I don't think that had anything to do with the award.
No, but that's what it makes it even weirder. There was already question about whether Barack Obama deserved this award, and now he has ordered 30,000 more troops to Afghanistan. Now, I know some believe it's necessary to get peace, right, to go through this period of escalation. Some say that. I don't know. I don't know that I buy that. Here's Barack Obama at this Nobel Prize acceptance speech in Copenhagen.
But as a head of state sworn to protect and defend my nation, I cannot be guided by their examples alone. I face the world as it is and cannot stand idle in the face of threats to the American people. For make no mistake, evil does exist in the world. A nonviolent movement could not have halted Hitler's armies. Negotiations cannot convince Al-Qaeda's leaders to lay down their arms. To say that force may sometimes be necessary is not a call to cynicism, it is a recognition of history, the imperfections of man, and the limits of reason.
Okay, and then he also went on to talk about what exactly does peace mean?
The concept of a just war.
Well, I think let's see if we can let's get it together here, Lewis.
I understand why war is not popular, but I also know this: the belief that peace is desirable is rarely enough to achieve it. Peace requires responsibility. Peace entails sacrifice.
I don't know what to think about this. I mean, it was an okay speech. I didn't really care that much about the speech itself, but just something about this still strikes me as strange. He gets the Nobel Peace Prize. It was not, the nomination came before he had done anything. Then he sends 30,000 more troops. A lot of progressives aren't happy with this. A lot of conservatives liked the speech because they said it was a conservative speech, which is similar to what they thought about his Afghanistan speech. I don't know what's going to happen with Barack Obama's approval rating in his presidency. We know that it's been dropping. We know that there is increased unrest from the progressives, and I think his base is going to be affected by this. We've talked for a while, for years really, about this 20-60-20. There's 20% of the population that is going to support the Democratic politician, president, whomever, no matter what. There's 20% that will oppose them. And then there's the 60% that is going to depend based on what actually happens. You know, I actually think that in this case, where Barack Obama doesn't even have that guaranteed 20%, I feel like it's more like 12 or 15 that are going to support him no matter what. I see people on all fronts questioning, concerned about some aspect of Barack Obama's presidency.
That'd be a pretty low percentage of faithful Democrats.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. They still could be. They're still faithful Democrats,
approving of the president.
The support him no matter what. George W. Bush, he had a terribly low approval rating for the majority of his presidency. But that base that was going to support him no matter what he did, he could have shot a man like Cheney. He could have done anything.
He maintained it.
He maintained that, 20%. And at some points, he had very little from that 60 that would sway. He had at some points a 27% approval rating. That's only about, if you believe the 20-60-20 mantra, about 7% of the people that actually will be influenced. Well, this week in Palin, last week, Sarah Palin quoted UCLA basketball coaching legend John Wooden when she actually meant to quote Native American John Wooden legs, if you remember from last week. This week, she wants credit for Barack Obama's Nobel Peace Prize because she says she wrote something really similar to that in her book. here she is on, I don't even know where this is, being interviewed by someone saying she actually wrote a lot of about what Obama said in the speech in her own book.
I liked what he said. In fact, I thumbed through my book quickly this morning to say, wow, that really sounded familiar, because I talked in my book, too, about the fallen nature of man and why war is necessary at times, and history's lessons when it comes to knowing when it is that we engage in warfare, and a couple of the other things he said where I thought, wow, good, those are nice, a broad message, so broad that I just wrote about those, and a lot of Americans right now are getting to read also my take on when war is necessary.
Okay, so no, Sarah, Barack Obama did not steal your ideas in his Copenhagen speech or his ideas when it comes to war or peace. By the way, what is Sarah Palin talking about? The fallen nature of man. What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
I'm sure there's some explanation, right? There always is with Sarah Palin. But
she could try and give you one, yeah.
The fallen nature of man. I just don't understand. I really don't. Let's take a break. Lobbyist Maggie Bergen is in our studio. We're going to get her in here much later. Joe Lieberman completely taking over the healthcare reform. Actually, just taking over the healthcare debate. There's really no reform left. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more on Midweek Politics.